Hi, I'm Steven from Patchworks. On the table in front of me, I have the Drumbrute Impact and the Microfreak, both by Arturia. The Drumbrute Impact and the Microfreak is a fantastic combo. It's very easy to get a jam going, super immediate on both ends, especially on the Drumbrute Impact side. For the video today, I'll primarily be focusing on the Microfreak because there's quite a bit to it, but with that said, it is a fairly straightforward and easy to use synthesizer. The Drumbrute Impact is a very immediate analog drum machine. So just to quickly go over the Drumbrute Impact for those who aren't familiar with it, is a analog drum machine with a kick track, 2 snare tracks. Snare 2 is technically a clap sound. You have a high tom and a low tom on one single track. You have a cymbal and a cowbell on one. Then you have closed and an open hat, and those two are in its own choke group. And then additionally, you have this FM drum sound, which is just percussive FM. The Microfreak by Arturia is a 4-voice paraphonic hybrid synthesizer. And what does that mean? Paraphonic essentially means that all 4 voices are just going to be ran into a single analog filter on this machine. And because it's an analog filter mixed with digital oscillators, that is what makes this a hybrid synthesizer. So on the top panel of the Microfreak here, you'll notice they're in very clear, distinct sections on here. Right here is going to be your mod matrix, and we'll come back to that in a second. Here is going to be your controls for your digital oscillator. Over here is your controls for your analog filter. You have a cycling envelope, so essentially it can be an ADSR or or you can loop it and it becomes an LFO. And then down here you have your standard envelope / VCA section. And right here you have an LFO. And then next to that is your ARP and sequencer section. You have your shift key to get into some hidden menus, or not so hidden, but they're a shift action. You have your octave switch as well as a glide time. So one of the first big things you might notice on the Microfreak is this funky looking key bed. And it's actually a really cool thing because these are essentially touch capacitive keys. And so it can actually detect how much contact your skin or how much skin contact is made with that key. And so you can actually, using the mod matrix, you can route that as a modulation source to pretty much anything within the synthesizer. So you can kind of think of it as like a pseudo aftertouch. Let's just first dive into some demos of the sounds of this thing. actually going to start with this engine and get a little jam going here. You can hear that analog filter in action. Some resonance in there. So let's say I want to send the envelope to modulate the filter cutoff. I don't want to use the standard envelope here because this is tied to the VCA. What I want to do is actually use the cycling envelope because this is essentially just the free-floating independent envelope, assign it to whatever you want. And so to do that, we're going to be using the mod matrix here. So we're going to first find cycling envelope. It's right there at the top. And I'll use this encoder to just scroll over. And then I'll line it up to whatever parameter or / destination I want to send it to. So in this case, I want to send the cycling envelope to the cutoff. So I'll turn this over to here. Now it's blinking on the cutoff. I'll click on the encoder, and now this is where I can set the amount of how much I'm going to send that envelope to the cutoff. So I'm going to, in this case, I'm actually going to turn this to 100%, only because the cycling envelope here actually has its own amount control. If you were to send your LFO to your cutoff, then you would have to control the amount using the mod matrix because there's no attenuator for the LFO here. Really gnarly sounding bass sound right there. Now we got the sequence going. Let's throw some drums on here with the Drumbrute Impact. So it's very easy to program a sequence in the Impact. You select the sound you want to sequence. You head over to step record mode. Essentially, drop them right in. And that's it. And so I'm just going to do that and get a little drum pattern going. Got a little beat going. Let's bring in the Microfreak. We can actually transpose the sequence as well. If I stop the sequence really quick, move my keyboard, and find a note that I like. You can dial back the craziness of the LFO a little bit. Let's change up the engine here and see what else we can get out of this. Let's try this super saw. So let's just do something like this for now and hold it. It's not a great sounding ARP I got going, but I'm gonna try and literally spice it up. So this spice parameter on the sequencer section is actually really cool and really great for improving. Essentially what it does is that the higher up the value of the spiciness of it, it starts changing up the rhythmic pattern of the ARP, as well as introducing new notes in relation with the notes you have played. So just like that, it's actually pretty interesting already. And let's go over to the dice one and literally roll the dice. So essentially it will randomize your arpeggio. If I just tap it. That's cool. Let's maybe change this. Change the time division of the arpeggio to be 1/8 notes. And then let's just tune our kick over here. So as you can tell from the little jam session we just had, both of these boxes are great for immediacy and jammability. That's even a word. I wish it was a word if it isn't. I'm Steven from Patchworks, and I hope you enjoyed this video.